Greetings, fellow Gothamites. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And we are back to cover episode 9 of season 3 of Fox's retelling of the Dark Knight mythology, entitled The Executioner. So join us as we venture into Batman's birthplace.
And explore Gotham.
Guilty! Guilty, guilty, guilty! Oh, Dragon, what an episode. What an episode.
Oh, yeah.
You know who's really pissed about this episode?
Who?
All the people that participated in the Deadpool for Barnes. They're just like, what? What? Are you kidding me? He's still alive?
Oh, they lost money on that one.
Seriously, anyone who bet money on Barnes dying this episode is out of money. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just they pulled the unexpected.
I mean, he had a will and everything. I mean, how do you predict?
I know, right? That's the only thing. That's the only thing.
You know that had to be the show just trying to mess with the audience. Like, they think, okay, we're like losing breadcrumbs. Like, obviously, we're going to kill Barnes. I mean, he's walking with a cane. He's been infected by the blood. He's writing a will. He's a goner.
All right. Well, there's a lot of stuff to break down with this episode. I think the Penguin and Riddler stuff, of course, continues to be the funnest part of the episode, I think. Some really cool Bruce stuff with Ivy coming back to the fold. So, Dragon, without further ado, let's break it all down. You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. So, let's see. It starts with the GCPD is in a bit of a mess because everything's scrambled after the situation with Simon at the engagement party for Lee and Mario.
Yep, Jim's following up on Barnes being ID'd by Simon in his last words. He's just basically trying to keep it kind of hush-hush. He's like asking the other cops. And again, I like this the direct aftermath of the party. Like they haven't exactly. You get a sense that they're directly going to the GCP right after they've been interviewed and stuff. So like maybe an hour has passed since the last episode. Shoot. I like that. So, Jim's following up on the Barnes ID, looking for eyewitnesses to make sure he's not going crazy. He doesn't want to believe this either, but he's just the man. Like he scrolls essentially, kind of gives like the man who killed me. It's Barnes, essentially Barnes. His last words, which again, that's pretty substantial to go on. Okay, last.
You know what I think that means, Dragon? I think it means that Barnes is guilty.
Yes. So Jim runs into Lee. Lee. She couldn't really. Nothing pertinent she can really add when she's being interrogated, and Lee, a little chat with Lee reveals that Barnes had at least an hour or so to do the crime after his drink, which means he doesn't really have an alibi, which means, again, there's like an hour, basically an hour window, which after the drink she wasn't like with him, so again, it's kind of unknown what happened between that hour and whatnot. It's like... And despite Jim trying to keep Lee out of the loop, for own protection, again, because Jim's done this before in seasons when he's gone after other cops or other kind of high-ranking officials. You want to try to keep kind of some people in the dark, because otherwise you get involved and they become targets and stuff. So it's kind of a smart move. I like that Lee, it isn't her first rodeo, and from the get-go, we're getting back into that season 1 kind of Lee Tompkins being like, she's cut above the rest, where she knows what he's playing. I'm like, oh my god, you're not saying it, Lee. Just I can't comment on it.
Yeah.
So she figures out, oh my god, you think Barnes might be the guy? Not in so many words. Just trying to keep it downplayed for the time being. Goes to Bullock, which again was the logical next move. Goes to Bullock. Bullock, extremely skeptical. He doesn't want to entertain notion. We know whenever there's corruption at the GCPD, Bullock wants to keep his head down.
Can I just say that Bullock, I think this is his comeback episode for season 3. I really like Bullock this episode. I thought he was really on point.
Yeah, Bullock was excellent in this episode. He was so good. I love Bullock in this episode. Yeah. Oh yeah, so basically, what it boils down to is, Bullock saying, Gordon reveals Barnes was the last word uttered by Simon. Well, maybe he was lying. The man did face transplants for the mob. I mean, he's hardly a credible witness.
And besides, if Barnes jaywalked, he would write himself a ticket. Which, Dragon, I know it's probably not. I know the likelihood of this is very unlikely, but in my sick fantasy world, I would like to think that line is a reference to Return of the Cape Crusaders.
Well, it's definitely a sick fantasy, then.
I know.
I like it to be true, but it's too, if you want to break down the likelihood, it's definitely...
I know. I'm just
different
saying.
Times of production, Tiki.
Okay, can I... Look. It reminded me of Return of the Cape Crusaders, and it made me chuckle. What more do you want from me? Anyways.
Substantiated fact! Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. So, again, Bullock's asking logical questions. He's asking, what was the motive? And Gordon's saying, well, I don't know. I mean, he was pissed that Simon got off. A man, you mean to tell me a man with a spotless 20-year record just went ape all of a sudden? You said to yourself, I like that Gordon's made some compelling, kind of points here. Well, you told me yourself that he nearly beat Tetch to death when he arrested him. Something's off with Barnes. And look, well, where is he today? And Bullock says, well, yeah, he's a no-show today. He could be sick. I mean, he could be tired from a long night. You don't know. Look, I don't want him to be guilty. Guilty, keyword.
Okay, can I just say, if you were to make a drinking game out of this episode, the two key words in this episode would be guilty being one of them, obviously. Take a shot every time someone says guilty, and you're going to be plastered. But, Dragon, I would also like to add in a bonus word. You know what that bonus word is?
What is it?
Polypennies. Just because, again, the name is said so many times in this episode with such a straight face, and it's such a ridiculous name. So, yeah, just folks, if you're watching along, kids 21 and over, so big kids only.
Don't encourage our viewers to drink. Come on.
Big kids only. Big kids only. Take a shot every time someone says Polypennies or guilty. Anyways.
If it was season 2, I'd say take a drink every time Gordon punches someone in the face, but
All right. Well.
Anyway.
Please drink responsibly.
Or at the very least, kids, you can play almost as long as you drink something non-alcoholic. Let's make that clear, okay?
Fair enough.
Kiddies at home, if they are for some reason. Anyway, so the point is, that Gordon, he's trying to he's getting his point across here that look, I don't want, believe me, I want to be wrong on this, but if there's even a chance of this, we have to know. Again, very, very likely because Bullock wants to know what's going on, so he knows whether to roll with it or not. And again, now there's more of just the fun role reversal we've had, just showing the development, which is such a fun way to get Bullock to a place where it's like the classic Gordon Bullock thing of Bullock would follow Gordon into the depths of he's always right by him through thick and thin, which he is at this point, absolutely. See, the Bullock, he reluctantly agrees of, yeah, okay. And this is a really nice subtle bit. I don't know if you caught this, Tiki. A really nice subtle bit here where you get Jim is starting to kind of issue out again, now make sure you go to forensics, you get all the stuff you can find. And again, Bullock kind of cuts him off. They're saying, I know how to do my job.
Oh yeah, I definitely caught that for sure.
And there are two bits I like about that. Right after that, we then, after again Gordon reestablishes, I really hope I'm wrong, we then see what I love, Tiki. I love that this comes back by the end. I love the office shot, the empty office. It's kind of Gordon's destiny in the future, kind of looming at him over this episode. And again, also the tension about Barnes, the precious kind of title of captain. It's kind of cursed to the GCP. I love how we've been building that. I love how it's kind of talked about towards the end of this, but we'll get there. Point is, the fact that with those two bits, that Gordon's he's kind of cementing himself as future leader of the GCPD with bits like he's unconsciously just kind of giving orders, and Bullock's kind of calling him on that. Hey, you're not captain. Just came back after the umpteenth time. You've been let go and rehired at the GCPD. Anyway, next scene. Let's see. Barnes. Basically, just to sum it up, Barnes' turn. Unless you really want to get, I didn't really write down a lot of I got the best parts of the dialogue for Barnes. I didn't have the whole speech.
I mean, I do kind of have the whole speech if you want me to do it.
Well, basically, let me set it up for it. Basically, Barnes has turned the whisper motif, the whisper of the Alice blood into his motif, so to speak. So he gives kind of this grandiose speech of judge, jury, executioner as he strings 3 men up.
All right. It starts with a whisper. You have to strain to hear it, but then it grows louder and louder till it becomes a roar. You do everything you can to shut it out. And then just like that, you realize it's your voice telling you who you are and what you have to do. Then you stop fighting it, and this calm comes over you. And then he kind of goes over to the 3 people he has, lists off their crimes.
Sex trafficking,
drugs, murder. I've kept files on all 3 of you for years waiting for proof, while you sneered at the law. Well, tonight, I am the law, and I find you tried.
Basically, each time he says this, he's kicking the chairs away, and they're all kind of dying.
Tried. Found guilty. Take a drink. And sentenced. And so
justice is served. That's your cold open there.
Yeah,
Again,
I mean,
if we kind of directly start with this, but we need aftermath though, so it's kind of so close yet so needed.
Yeah, same dance, different day. Anyways,
real quick, I want to mention on the rewatch, kind of caught how really cool this was. Is that the best part of Barnes' little speech there, his little modus operandi, there is that the whole realize the voice is yours and it's the one you've been denying, and once you fight it, there's a calm that comes over you. It's very much a Batman kind of statement of what Batman is.
I did catch that. Yeah, it kind of feels very Batman Begins-esque in a way.
But also, not just Batman, it also fits very well just kind of what we're doing this season with the Alice Blood, what it kind of represents. That, yeah, the Alice Blood, when you have a line like that, kind of shows you that it's very much a representation of Gotham, how it's bringing out your true nature and who you're going to be, and that's kind of what the Alice Blood is. In some ways, oddly enough, kind of another physical personification of what Gotham's doing to the characters, but it's a more like scientific way of doing it. It's like, okay, blood goes, the blood changes your biology, and then you become, what your subconscious wants you to be in a way, or like your deep desire, basically kind of a manipulated version of your desires.
Sure.
I think it's kind of a cool way to kind of loop in the Batman lore and into kind of this physicalized idea, but it's really true in dialogue. Really
well, I mean, when you think about it, though, this whole Barnes being the executioner thing, it really does ring true as kind of like a perverse version of Batman's ideals in a way. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I mean, Barnes. I love let's say we really have a little bit of too much preamble on the episode itself, more on the fact that Barnes did not die, but. Let me say this. I think this episode really I think it really strengthened. I think it strengthened season 2 in a way that I was really hoping for. So I think this episode kind of makes season 2 a little better. Also, I love how where we're going with Barnes' arc. I think it really helps Gordon's character in a big way. And again, I think this episode really the Barnes Gordon story really is strengthening what I want the direction I want the show to go in.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I can sign off on that.
I guess more on that later. So, so after justice is served, Ivy. Okay, so we have Ivy. She's working the antiquities dealer. I believe his name is Anton. She hears of he's basically going on, just kind of making some moves on her, trying to charm her. And he's also mentioned, I got a big fancy house, and there upstairs is a bed and a vault.
Right.
And hearing a vault, okay, money. Here's what I like about
money. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let's look at this kind of Ivy's modus operandi here for a moment. I like kind of this. This is an interesting take on Ivy. I don't know if we feel about this, but I like this kind of it's the seductive form with a child's personality to it. So it's just like it's basically Ivy's usual distaste for men, is just kind of disinterest. Always to serve her own plant needs. So I like kind of the way you do that here is that, okay, well, she's, her looks and everything are seducing men, but again, the disinterest is stemming from the fact, well, she has a child's, personality and kind of intellect, and she's still using plants as her weapon to steal things, but also she has kind of the added thing. She used that before. She used plants as kind of her, she experimented with plants, she made drugs out of plants, so she had the kind of that plant expertise already, and now I also like that with the plant expertise, it's not like super groundbreaking. It's like just enough to get a certain job done. It's a very very grounded plant tech in a way. And again, it's like kind of it's really homespun Poison Ivy in a way.
Yeah, Dragon, it's interesting because I feel like we can chalk this up to another thing where you and I were terrified of this whole concept during our speculation for season 3. This whole like, what? Poison Ivy is going to be a different actress, and there's going to be this weird magic that's going to age her. What is going on here? And in execution, it's so much better than it should be. I honestly think it's a really good job. Like you said, I agree with everything you said. I love how they're playing it. It's like Poison Ivy is essentially like, in the realm of this show. And of course, we've already established this show is basically like Bizarro Elseworld Batman meets kind of like a Batman Returns and 60s Batman and a blender kind of aesthetic to it. It can do its own thing with it. And I think this take on Poison Ivy, while very different from the usual comic book take, is Dragon, like you said, in a way, it's getting to the core of who the character is, but in a different way than what we've seen before. And I honestly think, like, at the end of the day, it's very creative, and I especially like how it plays into the Selena and Ivy dynamic that we'll get later on in the episode. I think that's very fun.
And the two things real quick. One, I still like that we're going in the direction. Because my favorite Poison Ivy is one who's a human lady who's obsessed with plants. It basically kind of playing on how Batman's obsessed with, avenging his parents' death, and she's super obsessed with just plant life over human life, which, basically Batman's preservation of life versus her preservation of plant life. And the fact that just makes her all more kind of grounded, crazy reflection of Batman. Basically, it's Batman with a plant motif. And I like how we're still kind of in the human Ivy realm. And the other thing I want to mention is that I also like that. Oh, yeah, right. I remember. Sorry. I like that. Again, with her not having powers, which I do like, and we'll see if they. Again, I'm not opposed to, like, eventually she develops powers, just like that we start her off in a real human place. But
I'm with you though. I definitely prefer Poison Ivy, for me personally, to be kind of like the more grounded, realistic take instead of the kind of like the plant woman kind of take.
I mean, that's the thing. In the animated series, when they did the relaunch, they eventually gave her the plant powers, which, again, I never liked it as much as the original, because the original was so much more inventive, I thought. But anyway.
And giant carnivorous plant, my worst nightmare.
But anyway, the real cool thing about this, though, is with this take, is that it's a wonderful way of like a plant power, she grew, she sprouted like a plant, and that's a way of, she's still human, but the genesis of her becoming from child to adult is very kind of super plant like, and I like that.
It's another thing that's established in season 2 that kind of pays off nicely.
Yeah. Let's see. Getting back to the plots, I just want to talk about kind of the take on Ivy, because now we're getting a little more familiar with it. Now she's been to the side before, so now we get to see more stuff with her. Anyway, so also this kind of funny thing to notice is that Anton, to his credit, again, he seems like he wants to get to know her before taking her to the bedroom, because again, it seems like she's trying to play on the whole seduction thing a little bit. And again, I like the fact that she keeps. Again, apparently the other guy may or may not have gotten killed. I think he got killed, but apparently there's some chance that he might have survived. My point is, she keeps hitting people over the heads with vases, which is not safe. Either way,
I do like that as kind of like a motif with her, though.
With the vase hitting thing, though, I got to mention again. Her victims seem like okay guys so far. Like, they're not like you initially think, okay, it's gonna be like a scummy guy you're gonna be rooting for. Okay, I understand why she stole from this. No, it's like was like, no, let me get to know you a little bit. Let's not rush things. I mean, again, she kind of finds we keep thinking she's going like, oh, it's gonna be some guy looking at a young girl. No, it's gonna be some guy trying to an antiquities deal.
You know what I think? I think this guy just genuinely wants to show off his collection.
That's the thing. This is so weird. Anyway, let's see. So, she tries, and she goes into this little thing about, I basically, what do you like? Tell me about yourself. She says, I like plants. Plants can poison. I'm from Gotham, and I like plants. Plants. I'm sorry. Did you have the speech you wanted to go over? Or?
Let's see. No, I don't really have it word for word.
It was the boiled down. Plants. I love them. They have so many applications. They can poison you, they can heal you, make you fall in love. As she's like, has this, look at my little plant-based perfume here. She got sprays like on her wrist or something, or basically has them smell it somehow. And basically we see it turns this perfume, it drugs him. It's kind of, again, the classic kind of poison ivy manipulation of men, which is kind of cool, is that it kind of dazes him to a state where he is like in its... I love that it's not to the level of the Mad Hatter. That's just like it's a daze, It's like you're susceptible to like a certain command, and you probably snap out of it soon enough, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
He dials in the code to like the secret vault room, and then she knocks him out with the vase. A little unnecessary, but okay, it's fun. Let's see. This guy was a dealer, importantly, of really the really rare stuff was in the vault. That's important. So she steals the important emerald necklace. Oh boy, I can't wait for this emerald necklace.
Little does she know.
Little emerald necklace. Oh, pretty. Smashes it, grabs it. Okay. She tries. Then Anton wakes up. He tries to stop her. That's what happens when the guy's in a dazed state. You wake him up when you hit him with the vase, Ivy. You gotta put 2 and 2 together. Okay. You just tell him to wait or something. Tell him to go to sleep, and you take it. You don't snap him out of it with a blunt force strike, or you make sure he's dead. One of the two. Anyway, so he tries to stop her. She knees him and the boys, and then she escapes. I'll find you, which is a good setup of like a misdirect for later on. Okay, well, this guy's looking for her. Obviously,
It is a really good misdirect. Yeah.
You stole from me, and you took my emerald necklace. I want that back. I'll find you, ominous.
Because I got to admit, Dragon, when I was first watching this episode, I was like, is this really how we're going to introduce Poison Ivy back into this episode with this, like, kind of silly subplot about her stealing a necklace? So you're right, it is very good misdirect for something much more cool that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So let's see. Now we get into the Enigma story. Okay, here we go.
Okay. So Nigma, of course, is very stressed. He was expecting a call from Isabella, but he hasn't heard from her. And,
remember, he put it down to 44 hours. So I love how they set that up last time. So he's down to the minutes are.
And then Oswald, he's trying to be supportive. He's just like, oh, I imagine librarians' conferences can be hectic affairs.
That's such a 60s Batman line, I gotta tell you. That's such a... And you know what's funny, too? I don't know if they intended this, but it's just kind of the way she looked, and also... Because I remember I told you with the whole female bookworm thing.
Mm-hmm.
But actually she looks like Yvonne Craig as Batgirl. Her cover was she was a librarian, which sometimes they do with the Oracle thing. The point she was a librarian, especially in the 60s comics, and the way Kringle, the way Isabella looked, she was... pretty much looked like Yvonne Craig's, with the dark hair, the black wig she wore.
Right.
Pretty funny. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, right. So the librarians' conferences, they can be a complicated thing.
Those are daddies.
Enigma. We have this phone gag, which I think is pretty funny. Penguin says, "Oh, I'm sure she'll call soon." Then the phone rings. I just love this look that Robin Lord Taylor gives, like, "Oh, whatever."
Yeah, you're right.
Enigma, he answers the phone. He's, yeah. And Penguin's asking he tells Penguin the GCPD called, and he's really worried. Oh my God, what if something happened to Isabella? Says, oh, I'm sure it's nothing. Then we just instantly cut to, okay, Enigma sees the body on the table. Again, a lot of morbid humor, I'll notice in this. He sees the body, which has been hit by a train, which I gotta tell you, all considering, they're not pretty okay. Just saying.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, dead, but still, relatively okay. Anyway, Penguin has like a GCPD officer, like a beat cop, who's kind of whispering in his ear, kind of some informational details of the case. Basically, he relays the Enigma. He's been told that she blew through. It's believed that she blew through a red light into the train. It's believed that she fell asleep at the wheel, possibly. And again, Corey Michael Smith's doing an amazing job in this scene. But he's playing I think he's playing Devastator really well here, especially the follow-up thing. The whole did she suffer? And this, of course, Penguin's really looking because he wants to say yes, she suffered. I hope so. It's he's saying, oh, no. And then this bit of acting is great. Tika, this is such a great thing for their storyline. I got to tell you, I love this bit. This is like the Shakespearean kind of. This is like the Greek drama, the Greek tragedy element right here. This shot here where. They console each other. Penguin, Enigma's he's emotionally devastated. He just kind of falls in the Penguin's arms. You see it, and I love it's so framed so well, like a statue almost, like over each other's shoulder, of just looking really sad, and the Penguin's looking like he's the happiest camper on earth. And again, the music's played wonderfully. It's a wonderful moment for the Penguin, but a devastating moment all at the same time for Enigma.
It's like the drama mask with the happy face and the sad face.
Yes, it's such a wonderful dichotomy in the scene. Of one's really happy. He's like, yes, I'm the luckiest boy on earth. And the other one's God. I wish I were dead. I wish I were dead. Anyway, so let's see. Ivy greets Selena after she reveals, well, it's me. After Selena's saying, hey, okay, lady, what are you doing here? Pulls out the knife, as Selena would. It's revealed that it's her and she wants food.
Of course she does.
To be fair, Ivy did eat a lot in season 1 when they were crashing at bars.
Right. That's true.
There's a very hungry child. I like how they kind of called that back. I'll admit this. As much as I will give points for creativity on Ivy, later on I do have a few issues with her. Minor in the grand scheme, but just it's a wait and see thing.
Okay, fair enough. It is. I mean, to be fair, it is a very kind of drastic leap they're taking from the usual origin with her. So
yeah. Let's see.
Anyway,
So Bullock calls in with the forensics. He tells Jim that they found Barnes's prints all over the bathroom, but that doesn't make it. He's just kind of grounding him, saying, "Look, that's not 100%. It's not 100% that that means he killed him. It just means he used the bathroom. It means he was there. It doesn't mean at the same time because people use the bathroom." And he also, and this is a great little character bit for Bullock because Bullock, obviously, if he's grown close to Barnes in this season, especially last season, in the second half. He and Barnes have that kind of especially it's really an off-camera relationship where they probably have developed a rapport off screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Where Bullock makes sure Jim, you gotta give him a fair shake. You gotta tell him what you know and just give him a chance to defend themselves. It's the only thing that's fair. So, Jim says, yeah, sure. One side, I'll get to that. Basically, I'll get to that. Jim then searches Barnes' office and he finds the Polly Penny's file.
Take a drink.
Barnes enters. And the again. Let me mention this throughout this episode with again the Gordon Bullock story. Sorry, the Gordon Barnes story.
Sure.
I love the tension. The tension is really well acted, and it's also really well kind of built up between two. Like both of them are trying to figure each other out the whole episode. That's really cool.
You know what else I like about it is I actually haven't watched The Shield myself, but from what I know about The Shield, this whole episode is basically like the Vic Mackey storyline contained into like one episode. Like basically a good cop going rogue. Anyways.
Let's see. So Barnes enters, and again, just Brea as Jim found the file, and again, I like that Jim's coming up with the rationale. Again, it's kind of a Dexter thing too. Like you don't know who knows what, or like if he's on to it or not. And basically, he's saying, Jim comes up with a rational excuse of like, I just needed to see the Paulie Penny's file. I think there might be some crossover in the cases. And again, really great tension. Again, Barnes is playing. Michael Chiklis, he acts the heck out of this episode. He just plays it so light, and he's so confident. So he's playing it easy going, which is real tense because Barnes is never easy going.
Of course, right.
I love that we're armed with the information that he's the guy. So definitely something, and Jim suspects him very much. So it's a question which one's going to figure it out. So he basically confronts Jim with the eyewitness thing of like, some eyewitnesses said they saw you talking to Simon, and Jim basically says, did they say anything? No. He says, well, it looks like you were talking to him. Well, he tried to say something, but he died before he could say anything. I have a CI with ties to the mob. Maybe it was like the mob trying to, Simon being looked at, trying to nip the problem in the bud, essentially.
Sure.
And we have this great gun tension, which is a wonderful foreshadow to later on. Like Barnes is loading his gun as he's talking to Jim. I just love that because one, I just love this the instant tension of it's going to kill him there, and the other thing of later on, it's a great foreshadow. There's going to be a big old gun battle going on later.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he mentions his CI is named Sugar. He's the guy who works for the mob, and he's going to go visit him. He wants to keep it kind of between the two of them.
He's basically like getting in between Gordon calling Bullock intentionally.
Again, I love how innocuous Barnes is trying to be here. Just like, what do you say? You take a ride with the old man? He says, sure. Yeah, sure. Sure. Just between us. Well, yeah, sure. Let me tell my partner. I said, well, why bother, Bullock? He'll be right back.
I also like how the line "take a ride with your old man," of course, calls back to the scene from a couple episodes ago.
Yep. Well, again, in this case, with the old man, you're right though. I like the parallel though. That's a great. It's a kind of a great little thing we're kind of hinting at. Again, it was more from the other side last season where Barnes looked at Gordon as a son in a way. There has been a light thing of more mentorship than kind of a parental thing, but I mean there are hints of it here and there.
Sure.
Anyway, so again, I just love the tension of like. I'll mention it when we get to a scene later on, but I love what they're hinting at here. It's a big old reference to season one. It's a glorious reference to season one. What they're doing here is that, why? Basically, let's go for a ride. Which in crime dramas is never a good sign. You never go for the ride. But again, I love that Gordon's backed into a wall here. He can't say no without looking suspicious. We'll be back in no time. They get in the car, and I love such a smooth. It's such a Breaking Bad premise in a way. It's like Walter White has to go with Hank somewhere, just he can't get out of it.
Mm.
Sort of thing. He says, as they're getting in the car, Barnes, oh yeah, I almost forgot something. He goes to the trunk to get a shotgun, and Gordon quickly calls Bullock, leaves a message. Meet me here, 133rd and 6th, which is where they're going, which Barnes says they're going.
Right, right.
Anyway, so then he quickly, hangs up, puts the phone away as Barnes gets there, hands him a shotgun, which again is such an eerie thing, like a shotgun in between, which that's what cop cars do a lot. The shotgun goes in between the two sides of the car.
Yeah.
Tension down with a knife. Again, separating them too for later on, a little foreshadow, like which side you're going to go on.
And then I like this little kind of mislead here. Barnes is just like, I'm disappointed in you, Gordon, because you didn't collect statements from everyone who was present.
I'm sorry, Dave, real quick. There's a great, on the rewatch I caught this, he even had this great line where he says, after he puts the shotgun in her hands of the gym or whatnot, he says, you never know what's going to go down.
Yeah.
Just such a bad juju coming, Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. So it's a really well played scene. Again, this is a wonderfully shot scene. I love how this scene is shot. In the way they shoot inside the car is amazing here. It's kind of, but again, we had a great shot with Gordon and his father drive. Now we have like a whole different, like very old school cop show kind of vibe here.
Right, right. So he just instantly, kind of very casually, like, oh, I waive my right to counsel, just for the record. Yes, I saw Simon. No, I did not talk to Simon, and no, I did not see him go to the bathroom. Am I in the clear? I'm in the clear, right?
I was in the bathroom before it turned into a crime scene. But you're right, though. That is just, it's a wonderful little thing. Again, whenever you're hiding something, usually the best way to take is to throw off suspicion by kind of addressing it right from the get-go. You just want to move suspicion around in a way.
Sure.
So he asked Jim if he. Again, this is basically Barnes is just trying to, throughout the episode, just trying to kind of get Gordon to his side before he makes the kind of a big decision moment. So he's asking Jim, and this is a wonderful scene too. He's asking Jim if he wanted to change the city. If he wanted to change the city, Jim says, of course. He says, I would have thought that going outside, basically hinting at going outside law and stuff. I think you would have thought he would have thought Jim would be fine with. Would find the law limiting. Sorry, we would find the law limiting. He says, "Well, not anymore. Not anymore." Because again, Gordon's his character arc, and I love he's wonderfully back to being Jim Gordon. And again, I would agree with many people saying, I think this episode has redeemed Jim for season 2. I think it's kind of, I think it made it right. I don't know. This one really won me over with kind of Jim's arc.
Yeah, well, we're about to get into that, but let's see. So. Barnes is basically laying down, like, the law shows you where the line is, and first and foremost, our job is to protect citizens regardless of laws, which Dragon then, of course, leads into the whole, the thing that was really frustrating the hell out of us through a majority of season 2, the whole question of Galavan and Jim killing Galavan.
And again, I love that they addressed that finally. It took longer than it should have, but again, this is what we were waiting for all of that season. They finally made it right now.
Also, I'm sorry, but how entertaining is it that they specifically have to address the first time that Galavan was killed?
Oh, yeah, that's great. Again, it's so funny. It's just such a wonderful little button to basically, he's mentioning Gordon says, "I'm doing things the right way, like you." Mm-hmm. Like with Galavan. Remember, the law shows you where the line is, as all that stuff went. And again, after it's brought up, like, even if it means bending the law a little, bending the rules a little. The Gordon right steadfastly says, no break laws. If you break laws, you know better than the criminals. Mm-hmm. What about that night Galavan was killed? The first time. The city's at a crossroads. And basically, the question is, will you do what's necessary? Basically, will you do what's necessary? I'm sorry, go.
Oh no, I'm sorry, just clearing my throat. Go on.
I wanted to say something.
No,
basically, the decision is yours. Decision is yours to make, and then of course you have the ominous realization of, wait a minute, well, we're going past 133rd and 6th. Oh, 100. No, I didn't say 133rd 6th. I said 136th and 3rd. Honest mistake. Or basically, like, I meant that honest mistake, which again, like, oh boy, he knew that even if he wanted the fail safe for the backup in case he would find someone to call Bullock, which is terrifying. And again, I love that Jim knows that he's in deep doo-doo right here.
Sure, sure.
So let me talk about this for a moment before I forget it, because it's one of my favorite things of the episode. One of my I love, again, I'm talking about this all season. I love that we have a wonderful parallel between Jim and Penguin, as we usually do throughout Gotham. But now it's like a direct kind of, now they're paralleling each other's arcs from earlier seasons. So, this whole episode with Jim's story parallels, and I hope you remember this, it's parallels Penguin going to the cabin with Maroni in season 1.
Oh, let me think. Maroni, Penguin. No, I'm sorry.
All right, let me just cliff notes it here.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Basically, things are going well for the Penguin. He gets to the club. He's still pretending to be, he's working secretly for Falcone, but Maroni doesn't know. Yet Fish Mooney calls, when she had all that craziness going on. She calls, before all that craziness goes on, she calls Maroni to basically kind of eat away at the Penguin, saying, "Hey, Maroni, he's working for Falcone." And the Penguin doesn't know through the episode until he's called. He says, "Hey, again, this is what I'm talking about earlier on with the whole
okay,
let's
go." I know what you're talking about. I gotcha.
And again, what's paralleling is this wonderful thing. Like Penguin's just kind of caught in the corner. And says, "I got to see a guy about a thing." He says, "Oh, okay. Well, good luck with that. Would you like to come along?" "Oh, sure. Let me pack a bag." "No, we got to go like right now." Again, very much like Gordon. Like, "No, we got to go right now." And don't tell anyone. Just you and me go out there, and the whole thing's like the tension of like you know something and I know something.
It'll be a road trip comedy. We'll pick up Paul Rudd along the way. It'll be fun.
Yeah, Tiki, seriously, how cool is that we're paralleling that story now with
no, you're right. You're right.
Again, two people had kind of a mentor thing going on too. Like Maroni liked Penguin, and it's a very similar thing.
Mm.
And on Penguin's side of this for this episode, Penguin is also his storyline with Enigma. This is kind of paralleling, oddly enough, the Gallivan thing. Is that Penguin is nursing post-shooting Gallivan is what I mean. Basically, Gordon post-shooting Gallivan being kind of hiding the truth from Lee and stuff and just trying to, kind of passing off a lie. This is, in this episode, it's Penguin nursing the lie with a loved one. Yeah, basically, he's not telling it. He's killed someone and he's trying to keep it away from his loved one so he can still keep him around.
Right. Yeah,
it's very much like kind of what Jim and Lee were. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Again, so I'm thrilled with the parallels between those two in this episode. Basically, I'm just I mean, going on about the parallels this whole season. This one really did for me because it's pulling directly from season 1. I love when they do that. So, meanwhile, Bruce and Selina, we have a very classic Batman Catwoman thing. Let me say this: David Mazoux. I was very thrilled with David Mazoux this episode because he was so Tell me you get a classic Batman vibe from this episode.
Yeah, he had 2 moments in particular that I really loved that we'll get into, but. Selina's. Go ahead.
This is gonna sound the corniest thing ever. Where it's like that kid's getting more like Batman every day. Oh, seriously, it's like, oh my god, he's becoming more and more like Batman. He's even wearing kind of the long kind of Affleck coat now. Just like again, we're hinting at cape. It's like the long coat now.
All right, but Selina, she's just complaining about Ivy. She ate all my food, Bruce. All my food.
It's definitely Ivy.
Oh yeah.
Again, Bruce is asking the smart questions this episode. He's doing the very kind of Batman smart detective work here, really. Basically the smart kind of negotiating Bruce Wayne.
Mm.
That's more later on, but anyway, so Selina Kyle is embarrassed that she didn't put 2 and 2 together already. Marv, the sweater, okay, well, she probably rapidly aged, and that's why this grown woman had Ivy's sweater. She's embarrassed she didn't come up with it. Let's see, so... there's a really nice bit where Ivy, where Selina punches Ivy in the arms, basically glad that she's alive because she was really devastated that Ivy was dead because of her own stupidity, bear in mind. But very stupid how Ivy went out.
Let's not get into that.
Well, unfortunately, that might have to come back to you because that's kind of my gripe with. Well, anyway, later on. Point is, it's a really nice build. Like, I'm glad you're alive. They kind of hug it out. Bruce asks why she's back, and she tells Selina that, in a very kid-like manner, basically, he tells her, like, right off the bat, he tells her in a very kid-like manner that, my look, kind of, basically the new look, it gets me free stuff. Guys give me stuff. I don't even have to steal half of it. Let's just give it to me for free. Right. And I love that Selina Kyle's just like, oh my god, you're still like that dumb kid I was shepherding in the other seasons.
And then Bruce, I think, has a great line. One of the lines of the episode, Bruce is like, "You do look nice."
I don't know, T. The way this played was a little. I think it took a little. Played a little strangely. He's like he says that.
I liked it.
He says that we kind of linger on it for a bit, like saying, like, "Oh, come on, really?"
Uh, to me, it's kind of like more Bruce is just meaning to give a compliment, but the timing is just really wrong. I liked it.
All right. I'm just saying again, it's purely the timing that bugs me. It's like it's like Bruce like looking around for a bit. I think it goes on a little too long.
Well, that's funny because I honestly think the timing for me is what works. But again, subjectivity, Steven.
All right. So let's see. So after the whole "you look good" bit, let's see. Something gets Ivy to reveal that she's in trouble. It's not just out of the goodness of seeing her old pal Selena that she's around. Nope, she's in trouble. Big surprise. Which is why she's reappeared. She asked, okay, what was the basically? She ran into a guy. She stole a necklace. So what was the? Now people are coming after her. What's the guy's name? Like I learned their names. In a way, Ivy is becoming kind of now it's the way she's been played this season. It's kind of hard to use this comparison anymore. She's kind of become a little bit like Barbara.
Like season 1.0 Barbara?
I don't know. Maybe season 2. I don't know. She's kind of. I don't know. It's kind of. I'm thinking of like when in season 1 where Barbara mentored the two girls, trying to turn them into supervillains.
I honestly
I'm seeing some of that rub off here of like she's using men, she's kind of using her feminine laws, which is exactly what Barbara tried to tell Selena to do. You use your looks, get things, get free things. So now Ivy's doing that.
Yeah, but I like how they're kind of like doing it through the whole basically through the big format. Like they're basically doing the big plot device.
True. Yeah, no, I just wanted to point it out that it's kind of funny. They're pulling way back from that too, and it's just she's kind of like a better Barbara, bear in mind. It's Barbara with a little more sugar, I guess.
Sure.
What? What?
No, I'm just like, is that a pun on our character that we're about to get to?
Well, kinda. Oh, yeah, it's kind of, but we have stuff to go through a little bit more before we get.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Anyway, so unfortunately,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Unfortunately, as Selena points out, again, this is my gripe with Ivy. So again, the Barbara thing I was just pointing out. This is my actual gripe, though, is that Selena points out, I agree with Selena full-heartedly as she points out, unfortunately, Marv's power didn't make Ivy smarter.
No, not at all.
Because later on, she's doing really dumb things, and she's a
12-year-old kid, though.
Here's the thing. It's like, again, I want to say is the actress is playing it well. The actress is doing a great job. She really sells the line. So again, I still have a problem with Ivy. It's like Ivy's doing really dumb stuff like that she did that got her aged in the first place. That's the problem.
I see where you're going. It's like essentially
it's like this weird mixed thing where again it's being performed better, but it's like it's being performed better. But it's still kind of the same problem though. So how impressed should we be?
It's like the actress is almost doing too good of a job of emulating.
That's it. Yes, she's doing too good a job.
Right. I see.
That's the thing because later on, again, I think the delivery on a bit later on is funny, but like, basically when it's like the whole the money gag later on, it's played. The callback to the money thing's funny, but the genesis of the money thing is like, my God, Ivy's dumb as a brick. How can she make all these cool plant things and still be dumb as a brick?
I think to a certain extent that's always been the problem with the Ivy character.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we progressed with her, and we're still kind of. I don't know. I'm hoping they're gonna. I just hope she doesn't. I'm all for making her like a kid and playing with that, but it's still just again the big thing is great. I like who doesn't like big? Seriously, who does not like big? Tell me one person.
I actually don't know anyone who doesn't like Big Dragon.
What I'm saying, anyway. my point is again, who doesn't like big? But still, if we don't like the kid in the first place, it's where we're kind of. We'll see. I'm just gonna hope that she doesn't get devolved to the Ivy that got killed in the first place.
Fair enough.
Well, aged or whatever you want to call her fate. Anyway, so Selena, as Selena points this out. And she reveals, she stole a necklace specifically. Bruce shushes her, and then, shh. And this is such a wonderful Batman bit, too. It's like, shh, you hear something. Here's intruders. And then we reveal something, which afterwards I looked into this, and I was so happy. This is a pull from Court of Owls, and I was so happy. so minor, Tiki, but I was just so. It's like they're looking at the book. It's the Intruders of the Whisper Gang.
Oh yeah,
You remember the Whisper Gang, don't you?
Sure.
You catch them in the. Here's the thing. I suspected it was the Whisper Gang. I thought, nah, they're not going to pull the Whisper Gang. They have crossbows. It's probably like they might be like the Gotham take on the Archer, the '60s Batman villain, the Archer, or something. I don't know. But like, oh my God, yes, they have the metal mask, and later on we have like, oh, it's going to be more on them later. But the point is that the gang and the guys that are pursuing our characters here, the Whisper Gang. It's the guys who basically, for the audience out there, may not have read Court of Owls. A gang of, I believe, Russian or Ukrainian criminals from Gotham, basically as a form of initiation to make guys wear metal masks and for like a year or something. Mm-hmm. And if they do their job right, then if they don't, it's like it's like show of solidarity. Like you won't talk to anyone, you won't speak to the police, sort of thing. It's like it's a tough guy thing.
Right.
And basically, after a year, you're inducted into the thing. It's like a pledge thing, and they unlock the mask, and you're good to go. Anyway. Hence the whisper, like don't say anything. Anyway, so then Bruce, I love that Bruce lingers to ID him. He lingers so he can get a good look at him, so he can kind of know what he's up against. And Sling snaps him out, "Come on, Bruce, come on!" But yeah, they escape in the nick of time, avoiding crossbow-related death. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile,
okay, let's see. So again, back to the sugar thing that you referenced a little earlier.
Jim and Barnes arrive at Sugar's hideout at the Foundry. Foundry is, I don't mean to keep saying wonderful, but I'm really dazzled with this episode. The production design on this one's really good.
Yeah, I think this episode kind of in general falls just outside of the top episodes of the season for me. It's kind of on the fringes of being at the top of the heap.
To be fair, we've had a lot of good ones this season.
Anyways. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
yeah, we're at the Foundry, and the Foundry is a really good location, especially later on. Barnes is kind of armed with a shotgun. Gordon gun drawn as well.
Where were you last night? I was at your mama's.
You're delinquent on your gas bill. I love just the opens with that. You're delinquent on your gas bill. Basically, he says he was at the fights. That's his alibi. His alibi is at the fights. People saw him. He's like, again, this guy is innocent. We know this too. The audience, we know. Okay, he's not the guy that killed him. It's Barnes.
Oh, so you're saying that a dozen of your lying, bottom-feeding friends saw you at the club? Convenient story.
Yep. Anyway, so again, he's just swearing up and down. Look, I didn't kill anyone. And Barnes says, "You know what? I believe him. I believe he didn't. I believe he didn't kill him, but that doesn't. I don't believe he. You're right. I don't think he killed anyone. But he's not innocent." Then, boom, bang, shoots him with the shotgun.
Oh yeah.
Then that shotgun is turned on Jim as sort of the big old reveal. Like, okay, Barnes is your guy. If you didn't suspect it now you know he's the guy. And you're in trouble. Meanwhile, let's see. Okay, before we check back in with those guys, we got Ivy.
I just basically called this group the Three Stooges right now.
Hey, Bruce isn't a stooge. He's really good in this episode.
Okay, fair enough. The Two Stooges plus Bruce.
I think just Ivy. I'm just telling you, Ivy's the main stooge here.
Okay, fair enough. But anyways, Bruce does get a very... I love this plan from Bruce's own dragon.
Yes.
I'm sure you'll agree with me.
Yes, such a great Batman moment. I just the kid's doing Batman so well this episode. I'm so proud.
So essentially, they don't really have anywhere to go. Ivy does not...
She's very useless with details, by the way. She's very useless with details.
Do you think I stay long enough to get the names?
Like, who's after you? No.
Essentially, Ivy, she doesn't want to turn the necklace in because that would get him to stop killing them or stop trying to kill them, or so they think. So Bruce gets the ingenious idea that he will buy the necklace off of her, which is great, Dragon. I mean,
I love that Selena's to the point of like, come on, like, don't Bruce, don't do that.
And then, of course, we get this is kind of the Ivy being a kid thing that
Ivy's a very bad negotiator. I don't know, Tig. I think if a guy tells you this is really valuable, keep it in a vault. Really valuable, as in basically name a big number. She can't even name a big number. I know there's a literacy, but I mean, come on. I knew she grew up on...
kind of like the whole Dr. Evil, like, $1 million. She's just like, $1,000.
And I love this. I love how this is edited, by the way. Just Bruce saying, none. Like, fine. Then just looking at Celine, just giving her a look like, you are an idiot. 2,000.
Fine.
Done. Fine. 10. 5. No, 10. Basically, what was my first offer again? Just so stupid. Come on.
But Bruce, to be fair, Bruce kind of puts an end to the lunacy. He's just
Yeah.
like, okay, you know what? I'll just meet you in the middle. $5,000 in cash today, or try to avoid those men on your own. That's my offer.
I tell you, T. I mean, this doesn't sound silly. I'm so proud of when they're like, yes, that's Batman right there. It's like,
He's
they
throwing
can
up
take it
so
or
fast, isn't he, Dragon?
yes, he is. It's like 5,000, or you're dealing with those men on your. It's literally like an ultimatum for Batman to make it. Like, I'm going to help you out, but again, I'm not going to give you 10,000 because now you're this pathetic. If you said 10,000 smartly, I would have given it to you. But come on, man, I can't.
Sure.
In good conscience, I can't reward stupidity like that. Now, what? And again, Dave Mizzou the way it does. 5,000. 5,000 in cash, or you're dealing with this now on your own. Deal. Now, where does this man live? Where does that man live? Yeah, it's just it's like it's the next Batman working on. Okay, what's the next stage of our plan, sort of thing.
Sure. Okay.
Meanwhile, take us through this, Tiki.
Oh, this is delightful, and I love how it pays off. So Oswald is he's getting a portrait done, but the painter is being distracted by Nigma's very loud, dramatic opera music. And he's just curled up in a corner of his room in a bed. He's just like, so again, another great bit of comedic editing right here, Dragon. Oswald's just like, so you just plan on sitting here all day then? Yes. All by yourself? Correct.
He's basically mourning in a chair, and I love, by the way, I love after they establish a Penguin, he walks away for a moment, then he comes back. I just love the returning gag of he walks to the can, he walks around, it's like, he comes back. In good conscience, he really loves Nick.
Oswald, I'm sorry, Ed, look, I know how hard it is to lose someone, even if you've only known them for like a week.
I love that what's great about that. He's offering genuine sympathy, but at the same time, though, he's lightly insulting the relationship. Like, come on, you just met her. We're less than a week. We're essentially we kind of nailed it down to hours, pretty much 2 days, possibly.
Right. Kind of ridiculous.
Possibly 2 to 3 days. That's as far as he could have known her.
A holiday weekend.
Yep. Anyway. And basically tells me this isn't healthy behavior, and it's a bit scary. It is a great bit, too. Like, I got it. Scary. No, you're not scary. This is really nice. But look, Ed. Healing is about moving on. Basically, you need to heal. Healing is all about moving on. And Enigma can realize real smartly, you're right. Oh, then he kind of stands up. This is a great video. It just says, "I'll say goodbye where she was taken from me," which again, I love such a Batman idea. Of course, leaving flowers with the parents of your kid, which
of course, right.
I don't. Tiki, I tell you what I really want to see. I know I should say this respect, but real quick, because we're talking about leaving flowers in spots right now. It would be. Tell me this wouldn't be great. A wonderful way to end the season. I know they like to end on like a big cliffhanger. Like, ooh, look what we got next season. But seriously, how great emotional cliffhanger would this be? Like an emotional, not cliffhanger, it's the emotional ending of it. If Bruce finds out, verbatim, if the courts are, the courts are sponsored for the parents' death, and at the end of the season, he leaves the roses where they were killed. How great an ending would that be?
Oh, that'd be great.
Yes. Anyway. I just wanted to mention that. And then we have little Isabel. It says, "Oh, I'm sure Isabel, she would want this." And this is Isabella. Really ticked it off. I love that ticked off. Enigma is just showing you. Isabella.
Okay, so meanwhile, back with Barnes and Gordon. Barnes is basically forcing Gordon to drag the body around.
Yep. And also, it's not explicitly said, because I had the first time I watched the episode, I had a problem with this rewatch. It made complete sense. I felt stupid for not getting it. He made Gordon ditch his gun. We didn't need to see it, but that's why he doesn't have a gun. That's why he dives out the window instead of just shooting him. He disarmed him, of course. Anyway, basically they're clearing the air to semi-easy. Basically, the two of them are clearing the air between each other. Of like, okay, we both know what's going on here. We've both been playing like real tense and everything. We know, you know, and I know now. It's really good acting though, on both. Ben McKenzie really stepped up this. He hasn't been bad or anything. I'm just saying that I think this episode really showed us some good chops of him playing Jim Gordon. Here's like the classic Gordon very well here. And also, you should know it's kind of tough for Ben McKenzie because he's he's used to playing characters that he's not really used to playing what people like to call white hat characters. You know, like your morally kind of your good cowboy characters, like Gordon is in this show. Like, the guy's supposed to be morally good. Season 2 gave him a lot more to work with. Bear in mind, because he's going outside the law, especially at the beginning of this season. So at least he's finding more stuff to play with kind of the by the book Gordon. So I mean, good for him. Anyway, so let me guess. Simon said the last words Simon said were the truest words that SOB ever said. That guy ever uttered. He's claiming that they deserved it. You know, he and Paulie Pennies.
Drink.
Yep. He and Pennies deserved it. How do you? Jim's asking. Basically, he's getting into asking like logical questions. How did you become this? And then Jim realizes in the conversation that it was the Alice blood. I love how he figures out too. As Barnes points out, detective to the last sort of thing. He just points, ever the detective, just pointing out that Alice blood, because he looked in the file, so the Alice blood files on his desk as well. Put 2 and 2 together. Good for Gordon.
And then I like how Gordon instantly, like, the first
Yes.
thing he goes to is relief. He's like, you know what this means? This means you're innocent. We can get you help.
Tiki, I'm so glad you brought that. That is a wonderful bit right there. Yes, that's Gordon looking for the way. Gordon always looks for kind of that way, basically the least collateral damage in a way. I mean, he's always done that too. Like he's like I've always mentioned this. Like Gordon's always kind of the best hostage negotiator because he actually cares about both parties. You know, he's just trying to find the most amicable solution there. Like, hey, you're innocent. It means you're not a killer. This isn't going to the worst case scenario. You actually have an out, man.
Right.
And then we see how far gone Barnes is at this point. Just saying, stop trying. Basically, stop trying. This is the part where you're talking me down. You can stop doing that. I'm not insane. You're not seeing the big picture. So what is this? What is this? Frame? What's the plan here? Frame me? Well, that's up to you. I deal in absolutes. Gotham needs men like me. Basically, ask it, will you join me? Gives him the Galavan example. And, oh my God, dude, this is where again I think they did a wonderful job. They did, as Captain Logan said, the impossible here. Like they kind of. And again, Teague, I've been waiting for this payoff because I was conflicted about this in season 2. The whole Gordon killing people. Gordon.
And I was more
kind of
conflicted. I just straight up thought it was kind of stupid.
And again, I'll still defend that too. I think it's better now just given the arc. But even beforehand, I still say it's like that's kind of a mercy kill versus like a cold-blooded kill. But let's not get.
My stance.
I know.
I think that Penguin should have just done the deed, and then the whole thing would have just been a non-issue. But
yes, but again, he wanted to beat him to death, and Gordon he realized, okay, I'm going too far.
Well, you know what? Maybe Galavan deserved to be beaten to death. Who knows?
Anyway, let's not get into it. The point is this scene does make that a little better, right?
I mean, it is obviously very retroactive writing, but yeah, sure. In retrospect, it does make it a bit easier to swallow.
Yeah, because we were basically waiting for this sort of justification. Like this basically doesn't hash this out in a way. We've been saying in 2 as well, like the whole we want Barnes to kind of have a place where he forgives Gordon for Ogden and Barker. Or in this case, the whole moves past the Galavan thing, which again we're having a real formal way. Well, the bizarre way we never would have expected of doing that, but we're doing that here. But what I love more so, again, less the whole I just bring it up, it's more so I love Gordon's response to it. Like, every day I wish I didn't. I lost my freedom. Again, we've had Gordon be really self-reflective this season. So, again, it's not just coming out of left field like now. It's like we've been building this the whole season. Like, Gordon's been really thinking about his past actions, the whole like, kind of PI, kind of lone wolf stuff. Now he's kind of back to his full kind of season 1 self in a way. Like, every day I wish I And every day I wish I didn't. I lost my freedom, Lee. I'd give anything to take it all back. Which again, it rings so true to me, Steve. That's what Gordon. He was such. Last thing I'm going to draw back to last time here. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep doing it. It was just my point I'm trying to make here is that again, it was the beginning of season 2 when Gordon just they foreshadowed the Galavan thing with him killing Ogden Barker. And I was so conflicted with that. Like, I guess they're going the Earth 1 approach, and hopefully we'll have like a way of kind of being able to swallow. Okay, Gordon had some bumps along the way, becoming the morally upright Gordon we know in the Batman lore. Okay, that's a take you can do with him. We've seen that in Earth 1. Only issue is season 2. We never had that kind of that bit where we kind of, okay, now I'm completely on Gordon's side. Like, Gordon wants to earn back. He wants to make that kill worth something good in the end. Like, I'm going to justify this kill by doing all the good I can for Gotham. And now we're finally kind of seeing that a little bit more. Like, he does actually regret. He's it was just kind of in the background. Like I was clinging on to that idea, but we never really saw a lot of evidence of it. Now we're getting more evidence of that. So the point is, overall, I'm happy with the way this is playing out. Didn't mean to go on long on that.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
So again, assuming I can only assume Gordon knows he's physically outmatched, just given the whole. In the other episodes, like mentioned that Paulie Penny's body was, his head was removed by brute strength, so he knows that okay, Barnes is the guy. He has superhuman strength. Right now, alone without a weapon, I can't take him down. He dives out the window when a distraction makes itself available.
Sure.
And before that, by the way, is also the whole "where do you stand" thing. Again, Gordon's more than willing to die in that moment. The whole like against you. He's just like goodbye, Jim. I think it's a real kind of sad moment too. Barnes doesn't want to kill Gordon. He wanted to bring him to his side, but it's the way it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Jim dives out the window, fleeing, and I think it's a really cool act break too. Just dives out the window.
Okay,
anyway,
so we have Nigma at the train tracks. I have this speech ready. So, let's see. The time I knew you feels like a dream, and now I'm awake. I wish I'd gone on sleeping. I will never forget you, my love. Goodbye, Isabella. And then he kind of puts the pieces together. The clock starts ticking in his head. Like, wait a minute, we're 4 blocks from her apartment. Who falls asleep 4 blocks from their apartment behind the wheel? And then, go ahead.
And the blind homeless man. Let me mention this. Barring the blind homeless man, I completely called where they were going. Remember, I completely called the story.
The fact that Gilzeem was going to get blamed for it.
Yes, I called that, and the whole how he put the pieces together too, like how he's going to realize the brake lines are cut.
Yeah, definitely. So
the brake lines and the Butch thing, I called that complete. I'm very proud of that. I didn't call the blind homeless man. Well, imagine who could.
Well, you know what? I think 2 out of 3 is really good.
Anyway. Seriously, I like the blind homeless man thing. I like it's kind of fleshing out the city. Again, I've seen the animates.
Exactly.
I don't know. We always have a theme of Bruce Wayne helping out the homeless. Of course, the animated series we had the Forgotten. I like how we have a homeless population in Gotham. We are talking about, which they even did in the first season of the show. We are talking about the homeless population. That's something that's kind of coming back here and there. I like kind of fleshing out the city. He's in the bad part of the town.
Yeah. Sure.
Anyway, so blind homeless man, I like that he's not evil or anything. He's just real money grub. He's just he's blind. He's just trying to earn some change. Just Ray Bum would approve.
Oh, God.
So he was asking for change, and I love that he's a source of information for the Riddler. He's going to give him a puzzle piece, so to speak, here. He says, oh, yeah, I heard screams coming from that heap. Again, not asleep. Screams coming from...
I haven't seen nothing for 20 years, but I heard it.
Oh, yeah. And again, I love that it's a way of giving Enigma a lead that's also just very distinct for the show.
Mm-hmm.
It was Cornelius Smith is really good in this, and that has some very Gorshin-esque tension-building moments. Not tension-building moments, but he has very Gorshin-esque intensity. Where Gorshin had that thing where it's he could be but he could also get really the next plot will be Batman's ultimate humiliation. It's really intense like that. And just, again, the most kind of an absurd line, like a '60s Batman thing, would be played really straight, really menacingly. I like he was kind of tapping into that a little bit, where he's saying, how odd.
Sure.
Oh boy, he's so fuming with anger because he knows, okay, something's amiss here. There's a riddle,
and it's a great misdirect too, because we as an audience are like, oh no, is Oswald gonna get exposed? That's kind of where we're leading. So
honestly, I tell you, moments like these make me wonder, how can people watch regular soap operas when the best soap operas ever are on or with the superhero shows? Seriously, the other soap operas, I hate soap operas, Tiki, but I love these shows.
It's Flash because my mother has just turned into one of those women who just loves her soaps. But yeah, in general, Dragon, I take the stance how can people just watch soap operas in general? Anyways.
Soap operas are Bates Motel is the best soap opera ever compared to anyone with a generic name like Days of Our Lives or Lives of Our Days, whichever you want to go with. I'll take. Just anyone who says watch Bates Motel, it's dark, but it's a dark soap opera. That's the best one ever.
Right.
Anyway, or Better Call Saul. Again, that's one's comedy and drama. Anyway, sorry, getting off track.
I would even say Breaking Bad, when you boil it down, is kind of a soap opera.
Again, these are the best soap operas ever, folks. The best soap operas that people aren't watching.
Well, I don't know. Anyways, we're getting way off track here. Let's get back on.
I'm saying the soap opera fans wouldn't be watching because they're watching soap operas. Anyway, so Bruce plans to
I
negotiate.
gotta watch my stories.
Anyway, so Bruce plans on doing negotiating. Very smart. Let's see. So Ivy, we have the Ivy vase callback. Like I hit him with a vase, so I probably shouldn't be here. Of course you did. Thanks for being so helpful, Ivy, to this delicate negotiation for your hide.
Mhm.
They find a dead body of Anton, the antiquities dealer. The Whisper Gang got to him. Whisper Gang! Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm still really psyched that we actually got the Whisper Gang. I'm sorry, I don't mean to. I mean, the fan out on that is just really cool. Anyway, so Selena wants to flee. Bruce, I love. Oh, Tiki, I'm so proud of this boy this episode. Just Mizzou here, he's working the crime scene like Batman. He's working the crimes. He's looking at the bodies. He's looking for a motive here. Like, why would he be killed? So I mean, it means okay, he's not going after us. When someone look at him again, someone just tosses that necklace across the room. Says, "This is getting us nothing but trouble. Why would they take the necklace?"
Are you crazy? That's worth $5,000.
Which is funny. I do like that. That's my favorite part of the money gag. I love the whole. That's worth $5,000. Of course, it's probably worth far more than $5,000.
Especially considering that when we see the shattered jewel, we see what exactly, Dragon?
Well, bear in mind, what you saw to you was in the promo, so we see a key right now. We see a key and a block right now. But point is, okay, secret key inside little emerald thing. Ivy makes the couple discover as the two of them are kind of, oh, Bruce, we gotta get out of here. And then she's, oh, wait a minute, are you two a couple? And this is funny too. I like this. There's little like they're on different wavelengths. Just Selena saying no, Bruce saying yes. Just being confused. Like, wait, I thought we were. Just like, where we go? We can't go to my place because it's burnt. Thanks to Ivy. We're going to my house. Just Bruce is like he's the straight man and all this. Like, okay, come on, I'm the only set that we can go to. Let's go.
Oh God.
Just like, okay, look, I'm sick and tired. You're telling me our relationship's not what it is. Let's just go to my house.
All right, so back at the GCPD, everyone's up in arms. Alvarez is basically reporting to Bullock that Barnes made a call saying that Jim shot someone in cold blood and is essentially...
he's going crazy.
Yeah, essentially.
I love that this is so funny. The GCPD is this kind of old news to him. Okay, Gordon's on shaky territory again.
Then I'm sorry, but yeah, it's great to have Bullock back in good form because he's got two zingers in a row. First of all, he's like, I was gone for like an hour getting lunch.
Well, that's not quite yet, Tiki. Let's build it for a moment. You're right, though. It's a great line, though. After the reveal, just coincidentally, but awesomely coincidentally, Jim calls in on the run. He's calling him while he's on the run, telling Bullock what's going on.
Right.
He basically tells him what's going on, like, oh, Barnes, he's been infected by Tetch's blood, and now he's trying to frame me for murder. I was gone for like an hour.
And also, he's trying to kill me. Oh, sweet, gentle virgin.
T, I don't know what this. Virgin makes sense, T, what you're saying there. But here's the thing: I kept reading it as I kept hearing this. I don't know if I'm crazy or what. Just give me a line one more time. What you read?
I took it as sweet, gentle virgin.
I got sweet, gentle virgint.
Virgint?
I have no idea why. I kept hearing a T at the end of it. No.
What even is a virgin?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was baffled by it.
Anyways.
But then again, how does virgin make more sense in the situation? Sweet, gentle virgin.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that. Anyways.
No, I'm just saying, why, in the context of the situation, why would he make that reference? But then again, Sweet Ghost and
Bullockism. It's just
you're
a Bullockism.
Right. Holy Ghost and a bicycle, bicycle, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Great direction in the scene at the foundry. He says, I'm at the old foundry again as he's rounding corners here, being shot at by Barnes. It's really cool. Again, it's really great direction here. Just kind of evading corners and stuff.
Michael Chiklis just does a great job transforming into a horror movie villain in this episode, I think.
I'm just really dazzled by this set piece of, okay, also we're doing the very 60s Batman thing, returning the Dutch angles here and there, turn the tilt in the camera, and he's pursuing him, he's stepping on the phone, Jim, crushes the phone. This episode is a far cut above the last episode we got.
It is, you're right.
Last episode was the weakest out of the season, but this one's been, compared to that one, far superior. Mm-hmm. So let's see. Just following a little phone crush. Bullock informs Lee. This is great. This is a good bit too. Just showing that how Bullock and Lee are always going to be there for Jim in a way. So she informs Lee about what's going on. Like, no, Jim didn't snap and kill someone. It's the touch blood. It's infected. It's infected Barnes. Asked for help, which would require falsifying some medical report. Basically, there's no evidence of what Jim's saying, but this would help him in the moment. Absolutely, if the medical examiner would confer what Bullock's been told.
We've got like 10 minutes before those trigger-happy killbots take him out. They won't believe me, but they will trust the ME.
Again, Tiki, really good Bullock lines this episode. Killbots.
Trigger-happy killbots.
Trigger-happy killbots.
Oh, yeah.
We're all he has. We then see Jim breaking. Tiki, again, a lot of this is just like fan service for me, I know. I'm sorry, but I gotta mention this. Jim breaking into the inside, he's elbowing the inside of the door so he gets to the glass, and he's holding a fire extinguisher. I don't know what it is. I just love heroes, or just I just love in general when you have your main characters are good guys hit someone with a fire extinguisher. I don't know what it is. It's just always really cool to see. I don't know what it is. It's a simple action thing. I just like fire extinguishers being utilized as a weapon.
All right, I'll let you have it.
I just loved it when so Barnes again. He knows Barnes is super strength, so he knows Benny hits him. It'll be a lucky one. So Barnes comes in there, he hits him with the fire extinguisher. He's just trying to get away from him after he's kind of slowed him down, hopefully a little. End of the line for unfortunately though, it's the end of the line for Jim Gordon as Barnes eventually catches up to him once he reaches a dead end. He basically has lost the game of paintball. Only the paintball ends in murder.
Oh God. So Nigma is inspecting the car that Isabella was driving when she died, and
I love that he exposits to the mechanic.
Just as I suspected, the brake lights were cut. How is it that not one single ignoramus from the GCPD noticed that the brake lights were cut?
I gotta take that one. One, I love that he's expositing the mechanic. This is such a classic Riddler thing. If whoever's around, he's going to be the smartest guy in the room, too. Mm-hmm. Secondly, Gordon Michael Smith, this is my favorite delivery from him in the season so far, because I love how cranked up and so Gorshin-esque and just so out of his mind ramped up. He's just so pissed off about it. I can't, neither of us can do any justice. I'm going to try. The whole you're going like a mile a minute, just delivering this with the intensity and just the frustration. How is it not one ignoramus from the GCPD noticed the brake lights were cut? Just the way he does it. We're not doing any justice, folks. It's the way that's my favorite line he said this season so far.
Who has that kind of money and influence? You don't know, but I do. Yes, I do.
I tell you that he's that whole as he wipes the brake lines off and he just tosses at the guy, just showing that's Nigma's ego at play. The whole you don't know, but I do. That sums up the Riddler so well. Again, that's what Riddler would say to anyone in a room, just ultimately Batman in the future. But you don't know, but I do. I'm better than you. I know more than you. And just being so wrapped up in his own world doesn't give a crap about anyone else in the room.
Sure.
Let's see. Let's see. The GCPD arrive. I'm sorry. Barnes is saying that. I didn't mean the GCPD have not arrived yet. Once the GCPD arrive. I'm sorry. Take us through.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Barnes is, basically confronting Jim like, no more running, Jim. You hear that? It's your brothers in arms, and they'll find your dead body and believe that you were a killer, even though I killed you. Ha 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 ha.
I gotta tell you, it's such a kind of a twisted yet true line of they would believe him because Gordon's behavior has been erratic in seasons 2 and 3. And unfortunately, it's absolutely true. They would believe that Gordon would have snapped over Barnes.
So,
it's a good wake-up call for Jim, just realizing the full gravity. The Mad Hatter wasn't a wake-up call enough. This is kind of the last nail was a reminder of Jim, you really went off the handle.
Right. So, let's see.
So, Gordon's just trying to look, you need help. Those are your last words. Nothing to say to Lee. So then the GCPD, they arrive outside. They're on Jim's side, and pretty much it's revealed that they're on Jim's side. They know everything. As Bullock says over a loudspeaker, which is the ultimate. It was the perfect distraction. Then we got a really excellent fight. I really love this fight. just the cliff notes it here is just just the way Gordon tackles him, strikes him with wood, and he knows that he's very outmatched here. But I love just using every little tactical. We get to see kind of Gordon what he was like overseas in combat. We get to see really Gordon's specialty here. He's Gordon at his peak, in his prime, which is now. Because again, years from now, you get a sense Gordon's not going to be as physical an opponent as you would imagine. Mm-hmm. He's tackling him, he's striking him with wood. It's real cool close combat strikes. He's elbowing him in the face, and you get in the arm. Really cool things. And
what's cool about it is, like you said, it's very tactical. It's like, you get the sense that he's using the experiences that he got out of the war, like some of the stealth-like combat that he got out of the war in this fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, again, to you, just the main example I would use for this Jim Gordon fighting would be the scene from year one, the old Green Beret fight. He's being very strategic with the fight, and he's knowing just where to strike, and that's kind of what Gordon's doing right here. That's very, the Green Beret tactical stuff. Let's see. So we also, again, the use of super strength in the fight is also really cool. How Barnes is throwing him across the room or throwing him into things, really cool. Then we have the ultimate after he throws him. We have the standoff again as they're reaching for the gun and stuff, and they both kind of guns drawn at each other. He tries to arrest him. You're under arrest, and then this is a cool moment. This is a moment I'm sure you and I are both thinking. This is it. Barnes is going to. It's how tragic for Jim Gordon.
Here it comes. Here it comes. We're all on the edge of our seat.
I mean, how tragic. I was thinking. Oh, poor Jim. He's being put in a position. He's going to have to make the Galvan decision again. We know he regretted that.
Which, of course, was kind of like our big. Like if the Deadpool for Barnes dying wasn't big enough already, I'd say the caveat, kind of like the side bet on the table, was Gordon killing Barnes. Like that was kind of like the secondary obvious thing to happen.
And again, I was wrong on one of I was predicting that it was going to be like it was going to be a mercy killing, which was not the case at all.
Sure, exactly.
But you would have bought into a mercy kill, wouldn't you?
At a certain point, yeah.
Well, I'm saying before you saw the episode, we were firmly on the mercy kill thing. It was probably in the cards, right? How Barnes come back from the last minutes.
Right, but of course, I think with this episode, he just gets too far gone. He's just like too far into like the villain role, especially when we see him at the very end.
I mean, yeah, it worked out. I'm just saying, like, I before the episode, I would have completely still stuck with my whole mercy killing thing, which was really wrong, but happily wrong. So again, I love that they found I love that they had to build the tension. Everyone thought Barnes was dead, and then we subvert things. We hear a gunshot after the whole let me go. You condemn this city. Basically puts him in a position where he's going to have to shoot that gun. He says, let me go. I don't mind being hunted by them. Just let me go from here. I don't want to be. You and I are very similar. Basically, we're in the same boat here. You'd condemn this city while I would save it. Mm-hmm. You're the same as I am. Only I have the guts to say it. Really good lines in this. Really good dialogue. Really
again, very kind of. I feel like a line like that gets to the core of who Batman is without Batman being involved in the story, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'll talk about the parallel. Basically, the kind of the final kind of parallel on Barnes later on when we get to the aftermath. But let me see. After before the ban, we have it is you. Then it is you who is guilty.
Then it is you who is guilty. I know. I feel like Michael Chiklis is just having such a fun time playing this role right now.
I believe you need to wet your whistle.
Oh God! Oh, come on! Don't stick to it like the jars. Come on! I don't even have it in reach. It's fine.
Oh sure, if it's fine. So
yeah, it's fine.
Well, if you say so. Fine. So then it's revealed that it's a shoulder wound. That hey, Gordon found a way to win, and everyone's still losing. No, I'm sorry, I'm quoting Red Hood. I don't mean that actually. No, he shot him. He shot him in the shoulder. It's the reveal. Okay, Barnes is alive. Gordon found a way to take him out without killing him. Hooray! You didn't have to go through the little Gallivan thing again. Which again, I'm rooting for. I'm liking they finally. I love that we finally at a place where now Gordon's back the way. This is the Gordon that's still shot to the side of Cobblepot's head, faking his death. This is the one who found another solution. Really, yeah, I was cheering. Yeah,
it's a good way to essentially press the reset button on his character, I think.
Oh yeah. Again, I'm amazed. Again, I'm amazed how they actually they did it well. How they took really good steps to bringing Gordon back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, bounty hunter. You never thought that'd be the path to getting Gordon back, and never in a million years was that he becomes a bounty hunter, and then he becomes good old Jim Gordon.
And that's right. But again, season 3, it's just like subverting expectations left and right, I think.
Now, the real question is he going to be Batman on the side? I doubt that.
I think that's more likely than.
I hear people taking the air out of the whole like another character theory now, but we'll see. I mean, he said it himself, so I don't know. Anyway. Okay, let's see. So Bruce plans on getting answers in the morning. He has Alfred make up the beds. Alfred, a little SAG less paid episode. He's going to be off to the side. We don't see him, but we have to assume. I guess Sean Pertwee was having a coffee break this episode. Isn't that maybe Sean Pertwee's on vacation when they were shooting this one? No. Ivy has a moment. She apologizes to Selena about the whole boyfriend thing. Nobody mess things up with your boyfriend. Mm-hmm. He's not my boyfriend. So we'll see how that goes. If she actually means that, she's just being like in denial about her feelings. Again, good soap opera. So, meanwhile, the Whisper Gang finds Selena's strongbox with Bruce Wayne's photo, which I got to tell you, I wish I knew what the other things were in it, because it just seems to me that she kept the strongbox purely to have a photo of Bruce Wayne.
Oh, God. Like Helga Pataki style.
I don't know. I know that was a big event for her, but I wish we got to see a little bit more inside of that thing. Also, it's kind of... It looks like they were looking directly for it, but then again, they're looking for a place where you keep valuables, so I guess it makes sense. Anyway, the point is, importantly, the leader of the Whisper Gang here, which was, for anyone who's read Court of Owls, the guy that Batman slams against the wall, the leader guy, or at least one of the lieutenants of the Whisper Gang, the one he slams against the wall, that's Luca Volk. He's going to be important next episode, remember, Luca Volk.
Okay, fair enough.
And again, he doesn't have a mask on versus the other guys because he's a high-ranking member. That's the idea.
All right.
He went through the initiation. Anyway, Jim and Lee, they have a little, just to boil it down, they have a little thank you bit. Again, I'm in a place to, you guys want to talk about the relationships. I'm in a place I'm rooting for these two kids to get together back to the season 1 level.
Yeah, I got to admit, I kind of am too. I think that Bale was essentially just a little bit of a distraction, and I'm glad they didn't go the route that I was kind of teasing they would go, where it's like, oh, it's episode 9, they're engaged now, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, if they played this off, I think it could be good. I think it could be a good, like, long-term story. I could see them getting together by the end of this season, I would say.
Yeah, I think a great deal of that is because, again, in real life, they are, I don't know if they actually tied night. I know they were engaged. I don't know if they have a kid. Again, their points, they're involved. They're dating. They're involved in real life, and their chemistry is really good. You kind of, again, it's like I want the season 1 chemistry. They're really cute getting together in the first. I just want to see these two kids get together again. Give Gordon a happy ending. He went through all this crap. Give him a happy ending. Enigma calls for Penguin. So take us to the gesture.
Okay. So let's see. So
again, it seems like Enigma's in like, Oswald, where are you, Oswald?
And we as an audience were just like, oh no, I didn't want it to end this fast. No. But it's
the ultimate pleasantry comes up.
Oh, it's so nice. It's so goddamn nice. I wish I had a visual image to go along with it.
I hope in future episodes perhaps we can print this out or something if we can manage that.
But essentially the portrait that Oswald was getting done, he had the painter by using a photograph insert Enigma into the painting. And Dragon is
I love that.
The pose is just so perfect. It's like it's Oswald kind of front and center, and then Enigma's just kind of off to the side, like.
Because remember, we saw that Oswald, he was already painted into the thing. There's no really altering that without you taking like a month to do it. Not a month, you know what I mean? Like taking a whole start from scratch. Sure. But they were just put into the background, it's like peering in. It's like, hello. It's like, right. It's like he photobombed.
Hi there.
It's like he photobombed a painting.
Oh God, yeah, it's great.
Essentially, and again, it's a lovely gesture. Basically, the whole reason for his Penguin says he felt that he wasn't he felt bad he wasn't as there for Enigma as he could have been. So again, it's a really nice little bit of pleasure in making up for before. And again, I like it before Enigma can really process, he's kind of focused on the new thing as he confronts Penguin about his findings about the brake lines being cut. I learned from a rather fragrant homeless man. Now, fragrant, I don't know if it means that in a good way or a bad way, but fragrant, as in his odor was detectable. Got a lead from the homeless man that leads to one conclusion. Murder.
Yeah.
I know who. And of course, we're lingering on Robin Lord Taylor's face. You're like,
of course,
look, he's about to be emotionally crestfallen and being put in a really bad position. But then it's revealed, thing I called, Butch.
Oh yeah, which is great. I think this is a really good setup. Has me a bit worried for Butch. I've been worried for Butch since close to the beginning of the season, but we'll see how it pays off.
That's the thing, though. Again, it's like they made him too good in a way. Is that he's good in that I'm so glad he's around, but now we've kind of fallen into the trap of we've fallen so in love with him that he's kind of, because he's not one of the essential characters, he could always be killed off, and we're always going to be worried for him because of that. But we love him so much.
Yeah, right.
That's the thing. Anyway, so it's the point is Butcher's going to be in danger big time next episode. I hope he survives, but if he survives, of course, that means our it's like this: you either take the relationship, you keep the relationship, you kill Butch, or you keep Butch, kill the relationship. Those are your options.
Oh, that's a Sophie's choice right there.
I know, it's like I love Butch, but I also love these two guys together.
Right.
Anyway, so Penguin swears that he will help him because again, Penguin's found the ultimate ally. Like, okay, Butch, I was going to kill him anyway. Yeah,
I
sure.
love Robin Lord Taylor just plays this moment perfectly. Just like not a beat goes by. His face changes and he's just like, that makes perfect sense. I swear to you, Ed, we will find Butch and we'll make him pay for what he has done.
Oh yeah, I knew I could count on you. You see, again, I was happy-go-lucky again. Okay, let's see. So, okay, here we go. Tiki, I love this bit so much. We kind of round out my stuff in Barnes. Here's the ending of the episode, essentially. We see the empty office, and I love this empty office as a set piece. We had this way back in the beginning of the whole Jerome arc in season 2, and now we're kind of going back to it as Bullock has one of his best lines. I love this as a Bullock line. Not as like a funny, like Bullock kind of quirky line. It's like a great switch up. This is an excellent Bullock line here. It just says, I think this office is cursed.
Right.
Which again, think about all the bad stuff that happened to Essen, now Barnes, and eventually Gordon. So I love this too. And this is a great exchange between two of them. A great, wonderful kind of Bullock-Gordon moment of Bullock saying to Jim, "Sorry, I doubted you." Mm-hmm. You did. Tiki, this really warms my heart with their dynamics. Is you did, but not when it mattered. Oh God,
that's nice. That's really nice.
Gets me on the heart. Okay. So, but seriously, let me talk about just what I love about this whole office thing is I love that, again, the office represents Jim Gordon's destiny. He's eventually going to be in that office. I love that we linger on it because of that. Jim's looking in that office. One, it's kind of worrying. It's worrying for the future of, like, who's going to be in there next. At the same time, it's, like, worrying about what it's done to the good people in that office. Same time, it's, again, the office, in a way, and I mean, I kind of go on this a lot. I think it counts for this, that it's, again, the office is cursed, and in a way, the office somewhat represents Gotham's effect on everything, as we kind of been hoping for in the show. You know, Jim thought it's like everything about this. Talking about Barnes in general, he was like everything Jim thought Gotham needed was ultimately Barnes was everything that Jim thought Gotham needed. You needed like the basically perfected version of himself. Like Jim failed initially, you know, he was kind of cast out, and then Barnes came in like, you can help me out, or at least even if I go, Barnes is going to have the city in good shape. But ultimately, Barnes was just Gotham's cruel tease at hope with the new mad status quo, with like all the stuff we're going with. Now we're kind of getting closer and closer to kind of a fully formed Gotham. Which, in a way, basically Gotham perverted Barnes is what I'm saying. Gotham through this office, basically the office represents order in Gotham, and Gotham just perverts order. And it twists people. It twists and tortures the people in office, as it did with Barnes, and eventually as it will do with Gordon, with stuff like Killing Joke and yada, 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 you know. It's really bad.
Sure. Yeah.
That stuff. Anyway, so symbolically, Jim is the only one for the job because, you know, he walks that tightrope of, again, as Barbara's kind of alluded to. I can't believe I'm saying as Barbara's alluded to, but just go with me. That again just kind of walks in that tightrope.
I'm telling you, I think the Barbara thing has been fixed. I think they're back on track with her, shockingly enough. Anyways,
again, he's walked the light and he's walked the dark, and that might be why he's perfect for the job of taking over the GCPD. And I think that's what they're hinting at here is he's looking at that office. So, you know, again, I think soon. I don't know. I don't think Bullock's going to be the captain. I think Gordon might be going the captain.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that because I think with Bullock and Barnes getting closer, it was more so to give Bullock a bit of motivation once Barnes kind of goes rogue, more so than foreshadowing that. But I do think it was a little bit of a nice kind of mislead. You know, I think it was plausible that Bullock could have been the chief for a while there.
You're right, Dave. Again, I think before Gordon really found himself again, Bullock was the absolute he's the go-to guy. He said he kind of missed being captain, but the other thing is it's kind of weird. Like Long Halloween had Gordon be captain, and Gordon does sometimes in some iterations he works his way up, including captain. So again, it would kind of make sense too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's see. We transition from the office, and this is a wonderful transition. We transition from the office to it's a really cool tour of Arkham Asylum, and then we see it's really nicely framed. Just Barnes in a straitjacket saying,
"Guilty, guilty, guilty." If I took a shot every time you said "guilty" in this scene, I would be plastered from this scene alone. Dragon.
Yeah, and let me mention this about this. This is another theory. So again, this it's not a theory. It's a little real quick. You know, so again, remember the whole Humpty Dumpty thing?
Yeah.
Well, again, that was just people stretching for an episode. It seems like I think this episode kind of proves that they were pretty much stretching. You can read into it if you want, but actually, he is kind of a blend of two Batman characters in a way. I doubt it's intentional, but again, I want to notice he's very similar in what he ultimately turns out to be to this. So this one actually might have some way to it. There, he might secretly, especially with the ending. The ending really brings us to the forefront is that he secretly might be a blend of two characters, Lockup and Bad Cop. Lockup, just Cliff Notes, Lockup, he was an Arkham guard who basically, instead of going crazy killing Arkham inmates, he went crazy and locking them down. Like he was really ruthless to the point where Scarecrow was actually afraid of him. Batman, I'm the master of fear, and I'm shaking. You know, he would abuse the Arkham inmates, the good ones. Like, you know, like Harley Quinn would be, poor Harley would be abused. Like people with good behavior, he'd abuse them by making sure they wouldn't want to escape. Anyway, so then Bad Cop was basically he's a cop that went rogue and started killing people because of Joker drove him crazy. So again, kind of a mixture of the two of those in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, point is, I just wanted to bring that in case there is a bit of a Lockup parallel there, but he's going further than Lockup did. Anyway, again, it's theorized. Just gonna throw there. Anyways, the episode ends.
Yeah, what do you think? Are we going to see Barnes again? Is it just kind of a convenient placeholder for the character?
I'm sure Barnes will be back because I mean he's in Arkham. Barnes will be back. He'll be back after the break, I'm sure.
Fair enough. We'll see where it goes. But again, I feel like it's just everyone who was predicting his death is just like, oh, really? But so anyway, speaking of predictions, Dragon, what do you want to talk about in terms of speculation besides, yay, we're getting Court of Owls and it's going to be awesome?
Okay, so again, aside from Court of Owls and the fact that in the promo, which I can only assume will be in the episode, they mention it by name.
Finally. I mean, it's like, God, we've waited like a season and a half for that.
Luca Volk is talking to Bruce when he calls him by name. He does give him a little history lesson. Court of Owls! Mm-hmm. Sorry, so I'm really happy about that. I think Nigma, we see in the promo that Nigma has captured Butch and Tabitha. Babs is going to Penguin to find them. There is an attempt on Mario Falcone's life. Not necessarily, we can't really make him out, but I doubt it's the Court of Owls because they're not Talons. They're not wearing the black mask. And I don't think they're the Whisper Gang, but then again, they're wearing motorcycle helmets, so it's kind of hard to tell. So, point is, someone's making an attempt on Mario Falcone, which will force Falcone's hand. We have that scene between Bruce and Luca Volk. We see a Talon, so we're getting Talons in the next episode too, which is even cooler.
They've been doing that for a while.
And they're throwing knives, Tiki. They're throwing knives. I've been waiting for them to throw knives. Sorry. We see the court symbol on the key, so basically within that little block that Bruce Wayne's holding is a Court of Owls key. I have no idea what that's going to lead to, but the point is Court of Owls key, and the symbol is on the key. And this is a thing from the comics, Court of Owls symbol on a tooth, which you know what that means.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see how far they go with that. If that's like their new way of kind of bringing people back from the dead, or what. If they've kind of put it in the tooth yet, or we'll see. Falcone is suggesting possibly to Bruce, possibly to Gordon. We don't see the way it's edited. It's kind of hard to tell. I would love to think that it's Falcone and Bruce, honestly. But again, Falcone and Gordon's hands are also good. Just basically suggesting letting it go, and then we cut to Bruce saying they killed my parents. You know, implying that he can't let it go. But again, might be a trick of the editing. Gotham will burn, and then there's a car bomb that goes off.
Okay, so let's see. The next episode is called what?
Time bomb.
Time bomb. Right. So
Hence the car bomb. Yep.
thank you.
So let's predict stuff. Not a lot to sound. Well, let's go through it. You go first.
I mean, I'm just excited to see the Court of Owls stuff finally come into fruition a little bit. I don't really have too many predictions. Of course, it's still pretty early on in the season, so I don't know. It's interesting, though, Dragon, because, of course, we only have 2 episodes left of the season. This, and then the episode 2 weeks from now is called Beware the Green-Eyed Monster, so we don't... what I'm wondering is what they're going to end it out on for... how they're going to go into the mid-season finale, and then also, more importantly, like, we've been speculating for a while about what the mid-season finale is going to be. I think a lot of our guesses have had to do with maybe Jerome's going to come back into the picture. Do you think that's going to be more likely, or do you think they're going to build something big with the Court of Owls and save that for mid-season?
Well, I definitely think the Court of Owls is going to be big in the next 2 episodes. So I think it's going to be really big next episode, then it's going to be around for the next one. So I think Court of Owls is just back, starting from this point forward. So I think there's going to be around going from this point forward. I think, again, the big question is if it's going to be Jerome. Jerome would probably be the big reveal. They always ended on a reveal of some kind. But even if it's like a post-credit thing with Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is literally a post-credit thing of, hey, we got Mr. Freeze coming. Right. That could definitely be Jerome if they wanted to.
Sure.
So again, it could be definitely this green-eyed in relation to jealousy. That I have no doubt. And again, Ivy could also be the literal green eyes, like we're stepping things up with Ivy, and also then Jerome being kind of like, okay, now we're just going to wrench in everything. That thing's going to get really crazy and mad. So really, let me kind of fire through some spec here. Not a whole lot, just more concepts that I could play with. I think I'll bet you this though. I bet the truth about Penguin's actions will come out by the end of next episode. So I think the ending of next episode, Enigma's going to find out because again I'm hoping that Butch doesn't die. I'm hoping that at some point it'll be revealed that it'll come out probably thanks to Butch that Penguin's the one who probably organized Isabella's death, which will set Enigma on the warpath for the Green-Eyed episode.
Okay, sure.
Well, it'll be all about jealousy, hence the Green-Eyed thing. Let's see, I think the Whisper Gang, now, the real question I have after this episode, the one I have no idea where they're going with, I'm just going to guess, is that the Whisper Gang was looking for the Court of Owls key. I have no idea why, because, I mean, again, the book was a little different, but then again, they go always to change things up a little bit what the Whisper Gang's after. Really, they are uncharted territory, by the way, so nothing's been done with them since that book. I speculate they're trying to unearth something about the Court of Owls, which will probably, lead Bruce down the warpath of the Court of Owls, like kind of get him involved whether he wants to or not, thanks to them looking into it. They're probably trying to steal from the Court of Owls, like steal old art antiquities or something they keep in some of their secret bases, like around Gotham, maybe.
Right.
Let's see. Again, I would like to see Bruce. Hopefully, like all of that might lead to Bruce meeting with Falcone, and then Falcone would inform him about the Court of Owls further, like what their ties to Gotham are. Perhaps Falcone definitely knows something. So either Falcone's going to tell Jim about the Court of Owls next episode, or it'll just be him informing Bruce further. But again, it looks like Bruce might be informed by Luca Volk already. So we'll see how far that goes. Either way,
I mean, like if it does get to the Falcone thing, I like the idea of Bruce and Falcone being kind of like reluctant. Reluctantly working together. That'd be a fun thing to see.
Yeah. Let's see. The Tooth could hint at Peter Gordon's return. Again, he could also be the big reveal at the end, too. I'm not saying not really a green-eyed parallel, but again, just Peter Gordon coming back. I definitely really want to see. I think it's going to be a missed opportunity if Peter Gordon doesn't reunite with Falcone, given all the build we've had in season 1. Like, the two of them are really good friends. So it'd be a missed opportunity if we don't see that. Initially, I theorized. I think I'm reevaluating it. I could be wrong here. I think I assumed the car bomb death would await Falcone, and this would lead to Mario trying to take over. However, I freeze framed the footage, and I looked at it. It looks like a man fitting Falcone's the script. It looks like it's Falcone, Jim, Mario, and Lee are in that scene, and like Jim and Falcone are by the door when that explosion goes off. So that's what it looks like. So I assume that Falcone is not dying via car bomb, but he could still be killed by a town, which would be cool.
Okay, fair enough.
Again, we'll Let's see. I'm almost done here. Let's see. I think Jim and Lee are going to get closer by at the end of the next episode because basically the premise of the episode is Falcon's going to Jim for help, which will definitely jam a wrench and everything. I think Jim's looking into the core values by the end of the next episode because of Falcone. Last thing with Jerome, if he does come back, because we're going a real Snyder direction with the good Snyder, New York Snyder. We're going to. I think we're going to have like a real Snyder take on Jerome. It's basically Snyder's take on the Scott Snyder take on the Joker, which I won't spoil or anything, but basically the long term thing of like Joker's looked at more of like this really terrifying ideal. Like, ideally, if Jerome comes back really pale, if he comes back looking really pale, they could be doing the Pale Man thing that Snyder alluded to. That Joker's more than just like a single man; it's more like this terrifying notion, which we've been toying with already with the the whole your legacy will wake children up in the middle of the night thing from the whole Jerome arc, early season 2. So that's all I really got. If we went a Snyder direction with Jerome, that'd be really cool.
Okay. Final thoughts, Sloan?
Final thoughts? Yes, absolutely. You go first.
Yeah, this episode, like I said, it's kind of like on the fringes of being among my favorites. I don't know, like the Barnes stuff. I don't know. It's good. I think it kind of it was a good build up. Maybe perhaps I feel like it was maybe a little bit anticlimactic just because we were expecting the death. But hey, it's a subversion, so that's a good thing. Really fun with Enigma and Penguin dynamic. That's again, Dragon. I definitely think that's coming to the head. By the mid-season, I would think those two are going to be kind of properly in place to be enemies. We'll see how that goes. And again, I think the soap opera-esque direction that some of the storylines are taking, like Bruce and Selena, and then Gordon and Tompkins, while soap opera-esque, are definitely in a direction where I feel like it's at least watchable. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it drags the show down or anything like that. So yeah, overall, pretty strong episode.
My final thoughts are I enjoyed this one a great deal. Again, it's setting Gordon, it's setting Gordon back to the way I like him to be. Again, I think it's kind of a good retroactive way of kind of strengthening season 2 in a way because basically it's the thing we were waiting for in season 2 we got here. So I don't know how much that really counts for season 2 as a separate thing, but I just like that retroactively kind of helped it out there. Again, I love the parallel we've been building with Barnes of like, okay, now he's in the exact position Gordon was in. We saw how that kind of perverted him thanks to the Alice blood. And we got to see kind of Gordon's reaction looking at that mirror of himself. Like, kind of, he gets a good glimpse of what he was in season 2 with the whole Galavan. He gets a glimpse at his consequence and what he was kind of. I'm getting a sense that this might be kind of the last of. This might be the last of whole like Gordon regretting his actions thing. Like this is kind of like the last kind of symbolic thing he can really go up against. We had the whole dream thing. We had her with the devil. The Sophie's choice. The whole like the sadistic choice thing. Then we had the dream thing. I think this is kind of the last way you can go with it. Okay, now he sees like a representation of here's how Jim could have ended up. He could have ended up like Barnes here. So again, we just played that out so well, and I think unless they have anything really good, I haven't really thought of with that story. I mean, I think they play it as far as they can go, and it's been pretty good. So the point is, I was happy with the Gordon stuff. I think I really loved how Bruce Wayne was as I kind of was fanning out about it. I love the Maslow is doing a really good job as Bruce Wayne, which I think is really helping out with the Ivy Selena story. And again, like it's gonna be interesting to see how they pull off the Enigma Penguin thing because again, we were all rooting for these two kids to get together. We're rooting for
them. But I also feel like it's kind of like one of those short-term, like watching a train wreck type things. Like we were rooting for the cute kids to get together so we could watch the fireworks unfold with them once they.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to be hard to see them part ways, but it's going to be like such a Shakespearean Greek tragedy of a thing. It's going to be like, it's like this is defining the history of Gotham, and the two of them almost, the two of them almost were like barely inseparable. The two of them were like the best partnership ever. And now it's like they're having different gangs and like gang wars and stuff. And like imagine this, Tiki, like either in the show we're never going to see, or maybe like a season or so, we're going to see like a moment where like again, assuming they don't patch things up. But we'll see. It's Gotham. Anything can happen. If we ever have like a moment of like the two of them just kind of going about business, but always having kind of that secret pain between the two of them of like, you kill that, you ruin my chance of love, and you with the one I was in love with, just kind of that silent thing of like, we could have been anything. We could have been the best versions of ourselves, but because of our natures, we can never, we can never be that. And it's kind of Gotham's influence on these characters, which one is just one that was playing into a lot of stuff I was hoping the series would go in, and I was very satisfied with it. So, okay, yeah. So I guess that's the next episode is, of course, Time Bomb, so we'll see you then. Okay, so I'll take us out then.
Go ahead.
So remember, children, no matter how dark and scary the world is right now, there will be light. There will be light. But beware the Court of Owls that watches all the time, ruling Gotham from a shadowed perch behind granite and lime. They watch you at your hearth. They watch you in your bed. Speak not a whispered word about them, or they'll send a talon for your head.